Wonder Woman isn't my superhero and never has been. I didn't grow up reading her comics or watching her television show and consequently don't connect with her as much as I do, say, Superman, Robin, Spider-Man, or Captain America. But walking into this film, I did know that she does mean a lot to a lot of people, and as such, I just so badly wanted this film to win. And having watched a number of interviews with the cast and crew as well, I could tell that they wanted that too. Just there was this palpable sense of passion and this earnest desire to get this right. And let me tell you, that earnestness permeated this entire film. Its visuals, its acting, its writing, its directing, and its story. And I've got to say that really was one of my favorite elements of this film. Just its willingness to wear on its sleeve this very unironic, sincere emotion and tone. Don't get me wrong, I can enjoy films chock-a-block full of sarcasm and silliness like Guardians of the Galaxy any day of the week. But at the same time, in the last 10 years, I have found myself missing films that are secure enough to really take themselves seriously. Something else that I really appreciated about this film, especially compared to a film like Suicide Squad, which was narratively all over the place, or Batman v Superman, which constantly felt like it was trying to cram 2 or 3 different narratives into one film, this film really was successfully simple on a story level. It was told from Diana Prince's point of view from start to finish, and that strong point of view really allowed me to settle into and enjoy a full, satisfying journey. And that simplicity too allowed for a number of really sweet, quiet character moments, which were some of my favorite scenes in the film. And even as those scenes, as well as a number of other elements, really brought to mind a film like Captain America: The First Avenger, a film which I quite like, something that I actually thought that Wonder Woman did just a little bit better was tell a cohesive and standalone story. One that didn't, halfway through, suddenly turn into one long montage as to set up the subsequent entry in the franchise. Not only that, but that story actually drew out of its lead actress, Gal Gadot, a surprisingly enjoyable performance. Of course, I'm not saying that she didn't do a solid job on BVS, but having her look really intense and strike stoic superhero poses could only take us so far, which is why it was so great that this story really was about that character's maturation, taking her from this wide-eyed, naive, almost blindly optimistic young girl to this much wiser, fearsome woman who was forced to not only confront the evil without, but the evil within all men, and a world that may actually not be worth saving at all. Fortunately for her, and fortunately for us, there was Chris Pine's Steve Trevor, who was there to display some of the goodness that can be found in humanity. But man, Chris Pine was so much better than just good. He was outstanding in this role, clearly giving it his all both comedically and dramatically, and always elevating the scenes that he was in and drawing the best out of his co-stars. And overall, it was just great to have this pragmatist who could act as the perfect foil to the very idealistic Deanna. This film wasn't perfect, though. One of the dangers of attempting to make an earnest film like this one is if an actor's performance isn't the greatest, or if the choreography of a fight scene isn't just right, or if a set can't help but look like a set, things can start to feel really cheesy really fast. And unfortunately, the first 15 to 20 minutes of this film, which took place on the Amazonian island of Themyscira, we had a group of actresses all being forced to kind of just stumble through this same accent, which I can only guess was put on to match Gal Gadot's. And unfortunately, that too often just undercut the reality of that race. And on top of that, as gorgeous and bold as some of the design work was in that place, I felt like I was often able to see these seams, so to speak, of those massive CG-enhanced locations, which again just kept that portion of the film from feeling like this immersive reality. When it came to the action throughout this film, well, let me first say, I do far prefer Patty Jenkins' style over someone like Paul Greengrass, where she actually uses wide-angle lenses to allow me to actually see what's happening. Nonetheless, her oversaturation of fast, slow motion of Wonder Woman looking really BA, and fast, slow motion of the bad guy looking really BA, just started to lose its effectiveness after a while. Also, and so many superhero films are guilty of this, it was just a shame that this film saw no other way to conclude things than to have its main hero and main baddie turn into digital doubles, which could then bounce around and defy the laws of physics in ways that those characters hadn't up until that point. Though it's bigger and though it's faster, which is what you want in a finale, it loses almost all sense of reality and therefore loses almost all sense of danger. And speaking of bad guys, good gracious, there were a couple of them that really did belong in a different movie entirely. In certain moments, their overdramatic line deliveries and maniacal laughs actually reminded me of the villains from the 1966 Batman movie with Adam West. Nonetheless, I really did enjoy this film and did walk out thinking, yeah, that was a win. It just had a very simple, focused, streamlined story and a lot of heart. And for all these reasons, I will give the film a 3.5 out of 5 and a heart. I would still love to know what you guys thought of this film, though, so definitely comment below and let me know. And finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.